Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson, blending survival fiction and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
I was thinking about doing Life Without Laws, but Chen's like, no. We got to do the women's
I have a
self-defense.
subject matter expert we need to come bring on the show to talk about this.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I do. I just don't think about myself that way. So
we need a strong female who can talk about diverse situations and how to handle them.
Kicking a little butt and taking some names, But one of the things when I wrote Erica's character, I tried to write it so that she was very relatable. She's not like this super over the top, I could kick anybody's butt in a minute, I tried to write her so that she was, she had some training background and stuff like that, but relatable. And I still had a lot of women commenting to me that there's no way that a woman could be like that in a post-collapse situation, that women would be victims, they would be owned and sold, basically, and working in menial positions. And I was like, wow, your mindset is really your future. Like how you see yourself, what you believe you can do, that's really your future. So that,
I like that.
Yeah, that it really struck me because they were like, women like these don't exist. And I was like, well, come on out and visit me, We'll go do some classes. I'll teach you some self-defense, and you can walk with confidence then after that because you can make the choice not to be a victim. You don't need to be a victim if you don't want to be. No, don't get me wrong. I'm going to talk about it later, but there are some circumstances that would be definitely challenging, no doubt. But in most cases, your training, your background is going to give you the confidence to either be a victim or not be a victim. So you can make that choice. So what I've found in my life is, I had some experiences where I felt vulnerable. And personally, I looked inside and I was like, I'm never going to feel that way again. I'm never going to be a victim. So I went to task training, and I've been training martial arts now for over 20 years. And even the most basic level of training provides you with confidence. And that's one of the biggest things about not becoming a victim is having confidence. You kind of exude it, whether you have it or whether you don't. And anybody who's looking to pick a victim, they're not going to pick somebody who appears very confident. I've been in situations where there was no way I could have, taken on as many people that I was up against. But because I was confident in the situation and my abilities, I was able to diffuse situations with just that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I've been telling Chin for years, I really, really encourage some kind of kickboxing. I'd rather it wasn't a cardio kickboxing because that gets kind of lame. But kickboxing, boxing, taekwondo, some type of martial arts training. Because not only is it great for your body, for your mind, for your stretching ability to keep your body limber as you age and things like that, but the confidence that it instills in you is based on a realistic understanding of what your capabilities are and aren't. When it's time to, use a weapon versus not using a weapon, that kind of thing. There's a lot of really simple self-defense techniques that work. And so if you're, honestly, guys, I'm 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing, And I've had 400-pound people back down from me like, no, I don't want to, I'm not even going to, play your game or whatever. And so there's really simple self-defense techniques that work. So when you're tiny, you have to think about small points. You rip somebody's finger backwards. These things hurt and they work. You stab them in the eye. You hit them in the Adam's apple. These types of things actually really work. And so it's just being confident in, you don't need a lot of techniques. You just need to know how to use them well. Yeah, and for chin, you just got to kick them really hard in the shins.
Hey, stop! Enough already.
I never got time to get you up there during the.
Gee, wonder why I was always at the other end of camp while you're doing your lectures.
Yeah.
Classes.
Yeah, I do the self-defense class out at prepper camp. So if you guys
My
are
name's
interested,
not Bob.
And I didn't get Brock that shirt either. I totally should have. Yeah, poor Brock. He is my training dummy. So, training is just really important for staying strong. Learn a few techniques. Learn them well. I don't suggest learning off of YouTube. People are like, well, can I learn online? Well, can you learn to swim online? I mean, so that's why it's just really important to be in with somebody who can show you what's going on, other people you can work with. You meet great friends and, form lifelong relationships. So that's important too. So obviously for somebody who's smaller, like myself, bigger people are going to pose a bigger threat. And just because they can clobber you basically in one strike. So it's having the knowledge to know how to chop that tree down. And it's true. It's true. You bring them down to your level, So it's a lot of footwork involved, and it's a lot of just understanding how to get in and out so that you can't get gripped on and chop that tree down. So tools are always good. You don't have to use your body if you have tools. So I do suggest you learn to train with a weapon as well. I chose the Escrima Sticks. Do you know what the Escrima Sticks are?
It sounds painful.
So they're like two sticks that are like 2-3 foot long, maybe a piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I chose that because, where can't you find a stick, a baseball bat? Yeah. Roll up a magazine, it works, So that's why I chose to really get good with the Escrima Sticks. And at prepper camp, we got these really cool batons that you can keep them in your car, and you just shake it and it flies out. Now it's 3 foot long baton. They're fun. Did you see those?
I did.
Yeah, they're good. So that's why I like stick fighting. I always carry self-defense tools. So you wanted me to talk a little EDC. In my go bag kit, I got a window breaker. And it's about a little bit longer than my hand. So I'm going to say a 6-inch long baton that has a spike on the end for breaking your window if you're in extreme emergencies. Mm-hmm. But I carry it in my hand all the time. If I'm walking into the store or whatever, it's hooked to my keychain. So that way I always have, if somebody were to approach me and they weren't a welcome person, I know it sounds horrible, but I could stab them in the eye or the Adam's apple. And I'm going to be able to end that situation really quickly with very minimal threat to myself. I prefer something like that. I know it sounds horrible, but guys, you never know. And you don't see the biggest thing if you're captured in a parking lot or something like that, you never want to go to a secondary location.
To the next spot. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So whatever you have to do to end it straight away, that's what you need to do, because you do not want to go to that secondary location. There at that secondary location is where things can go really bad, really fast. A pepper spray is very popular, obviously. Personally, I don't care for it too much, because if the wind changes, if you're in the wrong wind, now you could have it in your eyes too.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just not my choice. I carry around that keychain. I also conceal carry, and then I have my knife on me. Actually, the one that you gave me on my side all the time.
Yep.
And that's a fixed blade. I don't have to open it. I don't have to do anything besides grab it off my hip.
Yep.
So really readily accessible tools are really, really important. If you're going to carry pepper spray, please know how to use it. You know, how many times...
And there's different types. There's sprays and gels, and kind of figure out which is the best for your situation too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would think the gels would be better because you don't have to have the wind factor as much.
It's more targeted, yeah. That's what I have.
Yeah. So personally, I'm not a huge fan. What I am a fan of is the wasp spray. Like, Survivor Jane gave me that tip of keeping the wasp spray in your car, keeping it at your doors. That stuff sprays like 30 feet, and you can just coat people in that foam. It's much more non-lethal, non-threatening, but you're going to defend yourself. They're not going to be coming at you if you spray them down with wasp spray. So personally, I do like that one, and from what I understand is they don't explode inside of your vehicle. Like if you have it in there and it's hot, the can actually won't explode, so you can go ahead and keep it in your vehicle as well. Good stuff to have. Then, of course, the firearm is the great equalizer. So as long as you know how to use that firearm, you have you're fluid with it, you're comfortable with it, you've shot it a lot, you feel good. The firearm is the great equalizer. So an 80-year-old woman can take down a 320-pound man with a firearm. And there's other ways you can do it too, but you better have been practicing for a while. So one of the biggest things that I always warn about firearms is that, first of all, you have to know your space. And this was straight from Ben Brenham, who teaches a lot of the firearms, that, you know, once they're inside of that, I think he says like, I think it's like 20 feet. Once they're inside of that, they can cross that gap faster than you can, get your firearm ready and do everything you need to do. So
there's a big study about like a person with a knife inside that radius is more a big threat, even if you have a gun, because they can move fast if you're trying to draw from cover.
Exactly. Then they could be on you and taking your weapon from you. That's worst case scenario. Better to leave that weapon away. If you're going to take the gun out, now my mom is the one who taught me this, so it tells you what my family's like. But my mom told me, if you take a gun out, be prepared to fire it. Because a lot of people won't think that women will fire the firearm. So they're already underestimating you. So if you take it out, you be ready to fire it. Any tool that you're going to choose, just know how to use it. You have to be really familiar with it. You have to, feel confident and comfortable. As I said, as I started out, it's all about the mindset. And if you already feel comfortable, that firearm inside and out, and you pull that firearm out, they're going to know you're serious about it. So whatever.
Dennis Tuller was the police officer that did that 21 foot.
Right, 21 foot. Yeah, I thought it was like 20 feet. It's just easier to remember that way. So even with me, because he's like, once they're inside of that space, you're better to use your physical capabilities that you know how to do, rather than pull that firearm out and then potentially have your enemy take your firearm from you. That would be worst case scenario.
I had a instructor tell me I should keep a knife next to the gun in case a scenario like that happens where you can't pull the gun fast enough. You can
pull the
step
knife
down to your knife. Yes.
Yeah, I do the same thing because Ben told me that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do that. I keep my, my firearms concealed right by my knife. So whichever one, is what I need to do, then okay, it's game on.
Yep.
And that that poker thing is awesome. That it's metal, like the window. I mean, you do not want to get hit with that thing. It is a stabbing tool. So it's like, bring it, And
a lot of places that you can't carry a blade or a gun, you'll probably get away with that.
Yes. Yeah.
Or I even carry some pens and mechanical pencils.
Yeah, those mechanical pencils, dude, they have some tips on them.
Yeah, nasty, right?
Throat,
like the architectural professional mechanical pencil, not the ones that, Staples, but they're a little longer, and then they have a metal tip on the end, and it's a pencil, right? So like, if you're going someplace, I had jury duty, and I couldn't bring my stupid seatbelt cutter in that was on my keychain. They made me take that off because it had a blade on it.
Oh.
But I had a mechanical pencil. So, I mean, you got to think that way, though.
Yeah. When I was in Louisiana, we went into this bathroom or into this gas station. In order to get to the bathroom, you had to go through a metal detector. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, hold on. I got to go back to the car for a minute, I was like, uh-oh. So.
Yeah, but if it's your pen or your pencil,
right?
Or
just on my keychain. Yeah. Yep.
So think about it.
Yeah. Maintaining your basic level of conditioning as you get older, we all grow older. And trust me, I know I'm like the oldest one in my jiu-jitsu class. So, we all grow older, and you have to maintain that conditioning. If you go to couch potato for 20 years and then you think you're going to get it back, it's a lot tougher than you think. So you need to do constant maintenance of your body. Your body's the most important tool that you have. And I could sit here and rag on nutrition for like an hour, but honestly, I know we're all preparedness people. We all understand that tomorrow things could be drastically different. Tornado might rip through, and it's
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that one. That tomorrow could be a drastically different situation. So I'm all about eating the cake. Don't go to a birthday party, and skip the cake because you're, But we don't eat only cake. Like there has to be moderation there, and splurging is not a bad thing.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream and cake.
Hey, as long as it's not every night, that's fine, right? But I had a friend who was like, "Oh, I couldn't eat the soda and the cake at the birthday party," and I'm like, "Dude, if everything collapses tomorrow, are you going to be kicking yourself for the cake you didn't eat?" Yeah, you are. So, nutrition's also really important to keep your body agile, and for women, this is even more important because it's one of the strengths that we actually have. Is that usually we are more agile than most men. So obviously there's exceptions to every rule. But smaller, more agile people, can take on a larger, less agile person and have a chance at winning because you can use that movement to your benefit. So it's really important to keep taking your vitamins, keep your body healthy so that you maintain that agility. I do a lot of footwork and stuff like that all the time because that agility is is my strength, So I have to lean into that really big. And that way I can take out chin too. Like, you never see me coming.
Chop down that tree.
Chop down the tree. 95% of attacks on women are done by a single assailant, and they want to take it to the ground as fast as possible. So as much as I hate doing groundwork and doing jiu-jitsu, it's not exactly the thing that I love to do the most. Some women really do. Actually, there's I know a good handful of women now that really enjoy it. But I'd much rather stand up and fight. But the facts are that 95% of the time, it's going to be a single person taking you down, and they want to get it to the ground as fast as possible. So if you don't know what to do when somebody takes you to the ground, you're in big trouble. Also, it's a very scary place to be on the ground. So if you haven't practiced that and felt that, I mean, it's hard to even breathe when somebody's aggressing at you on the ground. So you got to turn that vulnerability into a strength. Because once you learn how to relax and you learn what you can do and you learn what you're capable of, then you're going to feel more confident if that situation is imposed on you. Sports like jiu-jitsu, I mean, you have to use every muscle fiber in your body to, survive the situation, let alone be able to win out of it. So I really encourage people to do the ground skills, even though it might be awkward. A lot of schools have like women's only classes, so you can start there and then advance up, because I don't know, I'm married. It was like a little weird rolling around with sweaty guys and ew, just ew. It's gross and I don't know. It was really awkward for me. So my instructor told me that he wouldn't have MMA classes anymore. It would just be jiu-jitsu classes if I didn't start showing up. So guess where I am now? Showing up for jiu-jitsu because I want to do my MMA classes. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you were talking about the like women won't be able to handle it or will be victims all the time, that's the first thing that popped to my mind is these women that fight MMA. I mean,
right?
Come on.
Yeah. So it's there are exceptions to every rule. But
yeah, but I think
yeah.
there's a lot of mindset involved.
Bingo. Yeah, it's all about the mindset. So
yeah.
If you can deliver tools to people to make them understand that they don't have to be that victim and you can do more with it. And you can still be girly and go train and have fun and learn to defend yourself. The nails do become a problem sometimes because, they can get like ripped right off. So that is a problem, but I don't think you're going to be worried about your nails in a survival situation, And if you are, then okay, we'll have to figure that out along the way. I don't know, but that kind of stuff. I do martial arts with a lot of very, very feminine women that you'd never know it. And that's really the best case scenario because then you're going to be underestimated. So if you are a woman who has trained and you do know how to defend yourself, you do know how to use a firearm, you do know how to use a weapon, you're going to be underestimated right off the bat, and then you're going to have a big surprise for whoever decides to try and make you the victim.
But isn't like a lot of that like subconscious, like being the confidence factor? They won't be pulled as the first target because that aura is going to be about them, and the bad guy isn't going to pick them as their first, typically, right?
Typically, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Because the training in that just brings confidence to know that, okay, now I'm situationally aware. And
just like how they hold themselves and how they walk through.
Yep, exactly.
A space.
We're not like, oh my God, somebody could attack me at any time and I don't know what to do. And walking along with that fear versus walking along with, oh man, I pity the fool. Like
with a mohawk.
Yeah. You're like, come on, grab my ponytail. Let's see how that works for you. Yeah. I mean, and so one of the things is overconfidence that I wanted to, because once you do start training and stuff, you need to understand that you never want to underestimate your opponent either. Mm-hmm. Right? So you're like, oh, well, I'm training.
Lee said that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mr. Lee told Swinson.
Exactly. Yeah. I wonder who wrote that book. But yeah, you never want to underestimate your opponent either. Like, I have the same kind of brain set if I'm walking in the ring with a white belt or a black belt, because that moment that you underestimate your opponent, your overconfidence takes over and you just think you're going to blow this away, no problem. That's when you're going to get, caught and not good things happen. So Also, another reason why I suggest always practicing fighting skills before you're ever placed in that situation. So whether you're doing stand-up or groundwork, you're going to feel that adrenaline rush. When you're in a self-defense situation, you're going to be an adrenaline overload. You need your muscle memory and that to just be able to take over and get your brain kind of out of the game. Let your body do what it knows how to do because you've trained it so much. Because if you're too intimidated to go to a school and spar with somebody or roll with somebody, then how are you ever going to survive the real thing when you're up to it? So that's, just a little words of wisdom from me. Just, I don't want anybody to be a victim, man. We're all capable of protecting ourselves. And I would rather, there's all the memes, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Well, absolutely. That's me. That's in a nutshell. I always told my boys, if I'm in a situation like that, I might not come home. But just know that I did everything I could to, not become a victim. So that's just the reality of it. So let's get into some situational awareness things. And because situational awareness is the biggest component to not becoming a victim. Don't stare at your phone. I mean, there's nothing worse you can do than walk along staring at your phone, especially if you're a woman. Because an assailant doesn't want you to know who they are. They want to be anonymous. They don't want you to be able to pick them out of a lineup kind of thing. So don't stare at that phone. Make eye contact with people. Make sure they know. Say hi. Hey, what's up? Because the minute you acknowledge that they're there, that's less likely that they're going to choose you as the victim. Because you're aware. When you're going shopping, when you're eating at a restaurant, know where the exits are. Who's coming through the door? That kind of thing. Yes, it does take extra energy to maintain awareness of your area, but it's 100% worth it if you don't become a victim that day.
Mm-hmm.
I went out to lunch with my mom. I was like, I got to sit and look at the door. She's like, why? I'm like, because I just do. That's just what I have to do. That's the only way I feel comfortable in a restaurant anymore is sitting and looking at the door. So Brock's like, oh, I got it. I'm like, nope. I'm good.
You're fighting over that chair.
Right? Nah, he lets me sit with my watch a lot of the times because he knows I just won't be comfortable if I'm not. So who's watching you? Like, did they leave at the same time as you? Were they checking you out while you guys were at the bar and now they're walking out the door at the same time kind of thing? I mean, these are red flags. Be aware of who is around you, how long they've been around you, that kind of thing. Because they could be just waiting for that perfect moment when you're not paying attention. When
it's like how many like movie scenes have been shot like that, right? But it's like fact and fiction, right? It's like real life.
It happens.
It's where they're drawing from, right? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, how many movies have had like somebody walking out of the bar or the restaurant and getting it?
Yeah, they get up at the same time, follow them out. I'd be like, uh-oh, they're getting up at the same time as me. Get that baton in my hand,
It's even like getting followed by a car. Have you ever like been on your way home and like changed it up because somebody was behind you?
Yes. Yeah. And we changed it up and went this different road. And then we pulled into a different house. Yes. And it was actually where that person lived, dude. Yeah.
We were just going over to my mom's house this weekend, and I followed the car almost from my house, right to a block away from my mom's house. And I told my wife, I was like, they must think I'm following them.
Right? Yeah. No, it's so true. We've done it before, though. Been like, I don't know. That car is kind of following us, and we just don't feel comfortable with it. Yep. we had an altercation on the road kind of thing, and now they're following us. We don't want them to know where we live.
Yep.
Ironically enough, when I first met my husband, he picked me up.
He was following you.
He picked me up hitchhiking in town. I had to get a ride home, and his buddy was like, hey, but my buddy Brock's going that way. So I had him drop me off, at the end of my subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
And I just walked to my house because I didn't want this strange dude to know where I lived, So little things like that, a lot of people don't think about things like that, but yeah. I definitely do.
For sure.
When it comes down to it. Mm-hmm. So attackers love ponytails. I may have mentioned this before, but they interviewed 1,000 rapists in Folsom Prison. What was the number one thing that these rapists look for? And it was women wearing ponytails. So knowing that, practice with somebody what you would do if somebody grabs your ponytail, and come on out to my class at Prepper Camp. Feel free to hit me up. I also have my self-defense stuff online at my website. I can always direct you in the right way, but know what to do. It's a scary feeling. People have control of your head if you're wearing a ponytail. So you need to know what to do, and you need to understand that that's definitely something they're looking for. Again, I pity the fool. Go ahead, grab my ponytail, dude. I practiced this like 1 billion times, man. It'd be over. Their head would be in my knee so fast you couldn't even blink.
Clothing too, right? There's a lot of different pieces of clothing that could be used like the ponytail. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a hoodie for sure.
Yeah.
Us in the jiu-jitsu land, we love going against somebody who has a hoodie on. Because you can just use that thing, to strangle them pretty much.
Yeah.
I was going to get into clothing, post-collapse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, nowadays we have laws in force. It should be a better scenario. Wear whatever you want, be comfortable. But in a collapse scenario, you might think about going with a little bit baggier clothing, because that way you don't look like you're muscled. You're not flaunting as much to get attraction your way. And really, people will underestimate your abilities. You look kind of skinny, kind of ragged, that kind of thing. So personally, I would go a little bit baggier look in that type of scenario.
Anybody who starts concealed carry is going to find out that skin tight is not your friend.
Well, it depends. It depends. See, I have a really cool pouch, so I can wear like my yoga shorts, and I can just put my pouch on, and I'm still concealed carry, and it's like I have a cargo pouch that I can put on whenever I want. It's pretty cool. So there are like options like that, because I was having that same issue. I like to wear tight jeans with the, and where are you going to put a weapon where people aren't going to see it? So so there's little tricks like that to the trade. My pouch is awesome. Has my tourniquet in there, all my EDC stuff, Plus I can put my phone in there and all my normal everyday stuff. So nutrition post-collapse, a lot of women will want to be feeding the kids and whatnot before themselves, and I understand that, but you need to maintain your nutrition level if you're going to be any kind of self-defense ready. So as we march on in Swenson's story, we're going to find all about that one. But it's really important that you keep your nutrition up so that you can protect yourself if needs be. The episode that we did on post-apocalyptic clothing a couple weeks ago, that one, if you're wondering about clothing and stuff, go check out that episode. That was a really good one. Post-collapse, try not to travel in groups of women only. This goes for men, too. Try not to travel in groups of men only. Women will, attract stray guys kind of thing. And men, groups of men, seems like a threat. So if you can travel in co-ed groups, that's the best way to go. You're the least threatening and the least likely to attract attention to you. So, law of large numbers. Even somebody that has training behind them, that has all the skills in the world, no matter how superwoman you may be, you can still lose the battle to law of large numbers. There's nothing, firearm is going to be your biggest equalizer in that situation, but the odds are against you when it comes down to the law of large numbers. So the law of large numbers is basically 1 on 6, It's, if I had, 6 trained fighters up against me, that's, I mean, unless I have a gun to be able to, equalize the field, I understand that's the law of large numbers. You're up against it. So it all comes down to the mindset. Are you going to be the victim? And personally, I wouldn't, but, I also have 2 kids that I'm living for and stuff like that. So it's just scenarios like that when you're really going to have to dig deep and pray that the good Lord, takes care of you. You need to know how to survive. You need the tools and you need the confidence. So, guys, this is, or gals, I should say, it's all up to you. It's up to you. The training that you put into it, the training that you put into yourself, the training that you learn now to be able to protect yourself later. This is exactly what you need. And the confidence is one of the biggest things that will protect you when the chips are down. If you can avoid the situation before it ever begins, that's the best case scenario. All right, you got any questions for me, Chin?
How do you defend against a badass chick? No.
I'm not going to tell you that one. You just don't want to know. No.
I'm worried about camp next year.
No, come on now. But yeah, anybody who's interested in learning, I'll be out at prepper camp again. Feel free to hit me up. I can help you, figure out what schools in your area, things like that. So just never hesitate to reach out. I'm always available, especially to help out on that kind of situation, because I never want to see anyone become a victim. That would break my heart.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and like you said, skills and knowledge, right? Are tools.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, you should have them in your go bag, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Your go bag that's up in your brain. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's jump into some Changing Earth stuff, because we got some stuff to go over, and I can talk about women's self-defense forever. All right, here we go. All right, Changing Earth news. Welcome. I was practicing that voice ahead of time.
Nice. Well done.
Our Earth's magnetic shield is still weakening due to the polar caps shifting. If you guys have not heard about the movement of our polar, the North and the South Pole, you need to do some research. You need to do it quick. You need to understand what's happening. The poles basically put up this magnetic shield that protects us from the sun, from spatial radiation, from nova activity. And since in 2000, over the last 100 years, we had 10% of our field loss. So that's not too bad, right? We got the North Pole heading to Siberia. The South Pole has now left Antarctica. It is now on the move as well. They're both moving out of their normal positions. So from 2000 to 2010, we had 15% loss. So that means it was moving like 5% less per century, and now it's sped up to 5% per decade. And when this thing goes, the 45-degree mark is where I've heard that once it hits there, it's going to go fast. And we're talking 1% every 72 days when it hits that point. So now we're probably down like 20% or more, and it's pretty likely that it's accelerated again. So this is major eyes on, because they just don't know what happens to the planet when this happens. There's all kinds of theories on ocean slosh, on massive weather change patterns. You know, we had the mammoths that were insta-froze, stuff like that. So we just don't have the understanding of what happens on our planet when the magnetic poles shift. And so we're going to find out. If you're looking for more information on that, head on over to Suspicious Observers and review their disaster playlist. Your mind will be blown on what's happening on the planet.
I was just did a quick search. Even Forbes is talking about it.
Yeah.
Forbes magazine.
Yeah, it's legit, dude. Like, it is on the move right now, and it just got a little bit worse. It's definitely something to understand how it is going to affect our planet. And then if we have a CME, when that magnetic shield is weakening, I mean, it will blast us as opposed to, then the weaker CMEs will have a bigger impact. So obviously for a planet that is very electricity bound at this moment, that's a very bad prospect. So looking at the sun right now, we don't have to worry about any CMEs. There is a coronal hole on the south that's kind of lining up with us. And there's an active region that's incoming. It hasn't turned in towards us yet, but we'll be looking at that over this next week. All right, let's get into, so I'm sorry we skipped a week of Changing Earth news, but we had so much fun meeting the performers last week that I wasn't going to, take time with it. So let's get into it. I went back to December 4th, though, because that's when the Sumeru volcano erupted in Indonesia. It was a huge eruption in East Java. There was 15 people killed, 27 missing, 57 injured, and that death toll was expected to rise big time. The ash blew up about 50,000 feet above sea level, so it was a major eruption. And, Indonesia has a lot of volcanoes, and it sees a lot of earthquake activity. But this one was very massive, and lots of villages were completely wiped out from it. We had more flooding in Peru, Libya, and India. They all saw flooding again. India has just been getting hammered and hammered.
Yeah.
December 5th, we had 679 earthquakes, 2.0 or higher. We saw a major spike. And the biggest of that, I wrote it down because it's Chin's favorite place, 5.7 in
South Sandwich Islands.
South Sandwich Islands, baby. But we had a 5.4 in Indonesia that day and a 5.1 in Alaska. Russia, it was 5.8 degrees Fahrenheit in St. Petersburg. It broke a 128-year record that was set in 1893. Like, it is freaking cold up there right now, man. I'm not going to Russia ever. Yuri, no way. South Africa saw a lot of flooding. Spain saw the severe blizzard, and it melts later in the week. So that was good. Brazil also saw this hail that was golf ball size that injured about 130 homes were damaged. And flash floods in Ecuador with 20 homes damaged, 23 people trapped in that flooding. December 6th, there was 705 earthquakes, 2.0 or higher. So that's when the activity spiked out. And there was a 5.3 in New Zealand that day. But that's when the tornadoes kind of started here. That day they saw an EF1 in Kentucky that took out this mobile home park, where 14 of the 34 homes were destroyed in this mobile home park. And then Sweden, heavy blizzards there. Brazil, there was severe flooding. Even the governor's home was destroyed in one town. Russia, we're seeing more and more blizzards up there, but it's wintertime in Russia. So I only chirp up on those when it's like severe stuff. Indonesia, severe flooding. So now Indonesia had that volcano eruption. They had all the earthquakes, and now they look forward to days of flooding ahead of them. Those poor people there. They need some prayers, man. December 7th, we had the cyclone that hit Hawaii. Honolulu got hit really hard, flash flooding there. And then in Australia, it's supposed to be their summer right now. I've actually been talking with Ellen a lot about this. But Sydney and New South Wales got pummeled by hail and about 10 to 15 millimeter hailstones. So that's like getting hail in the summer when it's supposed to be 100 degrees out. Okay? That's not a normal activity. Slovakia, there was like this bright fireball that went over. And then in Cyprus, there was a water spout that damaged a lot of banana plantations. So I also try and cue you guys up when I see our produce and our production being affected. And that's why Brazil's been so much on my mind. And then the banana plantations just got hit in Cyprus. So, that's never good things for our food production. On December 8th, there was a series of earthquakes right off the coast of Oregon. 41 quakes hit, the biggest of 6.2 miles deep. The biggest of those was a 5.8. So they were, watching for tsunamis, that kind of thing. And to see that much movement on the Cascadia Fault is never a good thing because it tends to funnel down into California and the Pacific coast there. So we had eyes on that for a while. It's either good that we didn't see any activity after that because maybe it fizzled out, or it could be that it's stuck. And so that's not good either. Ireland got hit with this massive storm on the 8th. They had like 30,000 people out of power. And then Argentina saw eggs-sized hail falling in Argentina as well. Yeah, and they should be like in the summer months as well. Southern hemisphere is going summer. Well, we're going winter, and They're still getting all this hail, which is really weird. Then this cyclone hit Brazil again for more flooding on their coastal. The other flooding was more inland. This was all coastal. 30 municipalities proclaimed a state of emergency, and 3 people died in that. Massive snow up in Austria. It broke a 10-year high for them. Lots and lots of snow coming in. So we'll have to see what the United States does. But Canada got hit. Halifax County, they had a severe blizzard up there. So it's headed our way. On the 10th, that was when we got hit big time. 19 tornadoes in 5 states. Arkansas, 1 person died there, 5 injured in a nursing home. Leachville, there was 1 dead there. And then on the 11th, that's when the huge one came through that tore up 200 miles.
That's crazy. 200 miles.
200 miles. Yeah, from Alabama to the southern Ohio border. And Kentucky got hit the hardest. They're looking at, 50 to 100 dead from that disaster. I haven't seen the final numbers on it yet.
James posted a video of a drone flyover. And it was crazy. Just the town is just leveled.
We were thinking imagine you were out shopping that day, Christmas shopping. You just had dinner with your family. And then that night, it just gets all ripped away,
Yep.
That's just crazy stuff. Okay, and speaking of James, Prepper Broadcasting Network has partnered with the Grindstone Ministries.
Yeah.
And they're, so it's funding to help the people in Kentucky in that. And we have a link to that. I'll put it in the show notes for sure. And then do you have a link to it, Chin?
I was just looking. I remember reading it. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, because I can send it to you, and we'll put it up on the PBN thing. Yeah. Okay, and we'll put it up on PBN, and that way, you guys, if you want to go help out those people, that is some horrible, horrible stuff. So please, do what you can to help those people there. What a horrible thing to happen right before Christmas, It's crazy. 100-year-old buildings that, were destroyed and whatnot. We also saw on that day heavy snowfall in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And then France got flooded as well. They saw 3 weeks worth of rain in 12 hours that flooded them out. So Spain, they got all the snow melt. They're flooded. France is flooded. It's and then on that same day, also in Chile, 145 houses burned down. 2 firefighters were injured in that incident. So the 10th was a rough day for a lot of the world. On the 11th, we have some flooding, more flooding in Brazil. You know, they're dealing, it's basically kind of what Germany looked like after they had that massive flooding. You know, the water's just not moving off. So they're still flooded out. Bolivia saw flooding. Greece got hit by this huge storm. It was like tsunamis were just pummeling Greece. So they saw severe flooding that day. And then just heavy snowfalls up north. So interesting stuff going on with our planet, and horrible, you know, people need our prayers out there, guys. Be thankful for what you have if you're sitting cozy in your house tonight. Our earthquake numbers are up. We had 136 earthquakes that are 1.5 or more in the past 24 hours. The biggest of which was a 6.5 off the Macquarie Islands. Alaska is still holding the year record at 8.5. And we're up to, in the last 7 days, 1,054 earthquakes. So we are looking at a little bit of an uptick of earthquake activities. However, volcanic activity, we're only seeing 26 active on our planet right now. That's pretty average for the numbers we've been looking at. 13 showing minor activities, so that's actually down. But 36 showing unrest, so that number is actually up. But I think it's just because some of those other ones slipped down into the unrest category. So it looks like that might be chilling out a little bit, but the earthquakes tend to drive the volcanic activity, so we're going to have to keep our eyes on that and see what that holds. We really don't need any more fires or volcanoes putting any more SO2 in the air, because that's just going to make, the winter colder and the summer colder as we're coming into next summer. So we have to just keep our eyes on what's going on with that activity. Whew! I told you it was a big day with Change in Earth news. There's a lot to report on. Yeah. It was a good thing that the week before that was kind of calm, you know. I could take the week off and not be like, oh my gosh, all this stuff happened we need to talk about. So yeah, please go check that link out. If you guys can give, that would be great. Here, Chin, I'm going to send you this too, because he sent me a different link for it. There's a PayPal link.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you go there, there's a place to donate. But yeah, if you send me something,
I'll send that over right now, and you can put it up there.
And I know that Jane in Disaster Coffee, they have a grindstone mix, and I think some of that goes to as well. So you can double down on all your giving.
There you go. Yeah, I still have to send some out to some peeps as far as that goes. So maybe that's what I'll do as well. And that way it's the gift that double gives. Hey, 2 is 1, 1 is none. That is the way it goes, right?
Uh-huh.
So thank you guys all for joining us live. If you guys ever have any questions, you want to put comments in, I'm more than happy to answer any kind of questions if you have it about women's self-defense or anything that's going on. Please feel free to comment, and I'll go ahead and address that as we're doing the show. If you want to contact me directly, you can head on over to ChangingEarthSeries.com. And you can just use the contact there, and it comes straight to me. You can contact me that way. Always open to discuss whatever you guys have on your mind. And any way I can help, I'll definitely do that, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to. Prepared people make prepared communities. Makes us all ready to handle the disasters that are coming down the pipeline a lot easier if we can do it together rather than alone. So that's
work together, not
exactly. That's why we do the show. So I'm always happy to answer your questions and things like that. So, Alrighty. Well, it doesn't seem like we have any questions going up, stuff like that. So let's just call it a night. I'm going to spend a few more hours with my parents before they got to fly out here.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen them in a couple of years, and COVID, all this BS got, they couldn't come down and visit, and nobody wanted to travel and stuff. So, yeah. Alrighty. How's everything on your home front? Looking good?
Going well, yeah.
The
Doing well.
Build goes on. You ready for Christmas?
Yeah.
Ooh, we have our Did you open up any of your 12 days of Christmas to survive the holidays?
I just opened the first one. I was doing 12 days leading up. So I opened the first one today. I figured I'd go 12 days leading up to Christmas. I opened one.
Isn't the 14th the 12 days leading up to Christmas?
I don't know. I was like, I'll open it.
See, I counted it out.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious because now I want to go open mine to see what you got because I was going to do it with you.
Christmas, it's the 25th. So I figured if I started on the 12th, and there's 12 of them, that'll end New Year's Eve. I mean, Christmas Eve.
Or Christmas Eve. Okay.
Yeah, that's
all
how
right,
I did
I'm buying that.
I waited as long as I could. I mean, come on. That was sitting in my living room.
I know. I've been staring at it too in my office. I'm like, oh, Sarah, be good. It's the 12th day of Christmas thing.
The first thing I did was I was like, 12 days. Okay, so what's that day? I'm like, oh yeah, easy math.
I like that.
I don't know if there's some official 12 days that it's supposed to start on, but
Should I just open it on the air now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sitting right
what
there.
if they're the same?
Hold on.
So she got an advent calendar that Sarah sent me. It's 12 days of Christmas, and it's an outdoors activity advent calendar, and they have it's a big box with little boxes that you open up.
It's available. I got it from Walmart, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And it's God,
Are you opening it?
I am. Right now, I'm opening the first number one. Here we go. Carabiners.
Yeah, okay, so it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I figured it would be, and I was like,
we
could open it then and talk about it on the air.
Or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I got. Of course, it came with two, but I only ended up with one.
Oh, Ronnie stole one. Probably Brock will want it too. I think he needs a carabiner for something on the trailer.
They're the nice ones. They're the lockable ones.
Yeah,
it
with
screws
the
up so it doesn't just flip open. Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
I am buying what you're selling. Very cool. All right. Sweet. Yeah, my office actually got that for me. So.
Very nice.
Very cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't remember what the outdoor company that is that did it. I'd love to be able to say their name on air, but I can't remember what the.
Yeah, I don't. It's downstairs in my living room. It's funny you gave me that. Well, I got that in the mail one day, and then the very next day, my mom gave me a traditional advent calendar.
Oh, nice!
Put up on the wall, yeah, with the little pictures and stuff.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, Mom.
It's like everybody's giving me advent calendars.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of it, and that way I can put it up on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be the worst picture ever, too, guys. Don't mind the messy office. There we go. I'll put it up there. Very cool gift for an outdoors person or a preparedness person. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. All right. Well, we better get out of here. I always run my shows too long. And once you add in the audio drama, holy smokes, then it's really long. So, alrighty. Well, we will be back next week with another hot topic. We're going to be going over episode 6. So if you guys want to get ready for that, that's the one we're going over. And, we'll be here. And if you have questions in that, think them up. Because I have no problem answering them and helping you guys out and getting some live chat going as well. So we can have some more interaction. That'd be fun.
Yeah, the chat's fun.
Yeah.
It's good stuff too. There's a lot of good information getting exchanged back and forth.
Right? Yeah, that's why I always love to learn. I'm a learner, man. That's what I do.
Yeah, you're something else.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. I was showing off your hat to my mom, the one you got Christian.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, yep, that makes sense. That makes
works.
sense. I'm like, oh, man, busted. Boy, I don't know. I can't figure out my phone. I'll get it up there eventually. So that's why I got to just send it to you, and you'll put it up for me. That's what.
That's what I did. Go ahead, put it up. I'll do it.
All right. Oh, and there it is. See, so easy to send a chin. Boop. There we go.
Oh, yeah. And you got the things on it.
Yeah, I put the carabiners on it so everybody can see what we opened up. Pretty cool. So we'll do the update next week on what we got out of the box. And you guys get to have the 12 days of Christmas with us. We'll do the report in every once in a while on what we got. All right. Boom.
Very nice. Okay, well, that'll be up in a second.
All right. Let's get out of here. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Always, you can get a hold of me, changing-earth-series.com. Hopefully, I'll have big news in the works for you guys soon. Always working, always working. But until next time, remember, dream,
survive,
thrive.
Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster at www.authorSarahFHathaway.com. If you love the Changing Earth